Warning! The root's on fire! You're about to experience the most high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal controversial show of your life. Please buckle up and hold on tightly. This station is not responsible for injuries. This is Wayne Allyn Root, raw and unfiltered, with America's favorite conservative rock star. Direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. What time is it? It's time for war! Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
All right, Wayne Allyn Root is here, Warzone Live. So I wrote a commentary this morning. Hopefully my voice holds up today. It was a rough day yesterday, and it was kind of rough this morning. Feels a little better right now, but after I speak for the next hour, it'll probably be exactly the same. And then I leave tomorrow, by the way. Lee Elsey will be guest hosting, I believe, what's tomorrow? Wednesday, Thursday, and then Best of Wayne on Friday. And then I'll do my America's Top 10 show on Real America's Voice from Washington, D.C. I'll tape it on Friday from their D.C. studios, and it'll be on at its regular time here in Las Vegas, noon Eastern and 9 a.m. here in Las Vegas, America's Top 10 Countdown on Real America's Voice TV. And I'll be flying home on Saturday and back in Las Vegas Saturday and Sunday. So I'll be back here on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday before the July 4th holiday. But I am in Washington, D.C., attending a great friend's swearing in as ambassador, a United States ambassador. And here's the commentary that I wrote. I thought it was time that someone Jewish wrote a commentary on behalf of and supporting President Trump. So it's titled "A Jewish American," and on support of the Iran deal. A Jewish American pro-Israel MAGA warrior makes strong case for Trump's Iran deal. So I am proudly pro-Israel. I will always support and defend Israel. I believe Israel is America's best friend and ally in the world, and vice versa. I'm always loyal to my friends. But above all else, and it's not even close, I'm MAGA and America first. I always stand with President Trump and America. America is what matters. America is the first priority, always and by a mile. That's why I support President Trump's Iran deal. Is it perfect? No. Was it a tough decision? Yes. That's why presidents are elected, to make tough decisions. I've told my TV, radio, and podcast audience, viewers and listeners for days now, it's not a perfect move, but Trump made the right move. Is it a bad move for Israel? Maybe. Short term. Is it a bad move for future U.S. presidents? Maybe. Because when Iran acts out again, and they will, future presidents will have to deal with it. But right now, winning the midterms is all that matters. I believe the American people are always right. President Trump listened to the American people. They want out of Iran. They want lower gas prices. They want lower grocery prices. They want lower inflation. They want lower interest rates. They want a booming economy. In a perfect world, would I have wanted President Trump to finish the job in Iran? Absolutely. Yes. But what if finishing the job meant 6 more months at war or a year? What if it meant putting boots on the ground? What if it meant thousands of American soldiers killed and injured? Would the American people have understood and accepted that pain? I believe the answer is no. What if finishing the job meant, while we continued to fight the war, oil ran out all over the globe? Anyone could say that? Let me try it again. You try that one. Oil ran out all over the globe. Say that 5 times fast. What if the result was gas rationing all over the globe? What if this led to global economic collapse? What if this led to a Great Depression? Would Trump and the GOP have been blamed for all of this? Yes. Ronald Reagan once said a recession is when people lose their jobs. A depression is when you lose yours. What if gas hit $8 or $9 or $10 a gallon and millions of Americans lost their jobs? Would the American people have understood and accepted that pain? No. What if staying the course and finishing the job meant winning the war decisively but losing the midterms? Would that be a victory? I think that would be called the worst trade in world history. Think back to President George H.W. Bush. He won the Iraq War decisively. Bush executed the perfect war plan We destroyed the Iraq army in a matter of weeks, a masterful job. Bush was hailed as brilliant and a great leader. His approval was among the highest in history. Do you remember what happened next? Only a few short months later, America was in a mild recession and Bush was defeated by Bill Clinton. That was his thanks for winning the war. America threw him out on his ass. Why? Because war doesn't matter. The economy does. That never changes. James Carville had it right. It's the economy, stupid. All the people know and really care about is their pocketbook, their wallet, their bank account, their paycheck, and their job. If those are good, we win the upcoming midterms. If we win the Iran war, but the economy is weak and inflation is still high, we lose, period. Money trumps war, even a smashing victory. President Trump understands these timeless truths. Trump listens. Trump compromises. Trump changes direction. Trump wants to be Reagan, Lincoln, and Washington. He doesn't want to be George H.W. Bush. This was a crucial and necessary change of direction. All that matters now is winning the midterms. All the rest can wait. And it's already working. Have you seen the latest polls? Out this morning, the Daily Mail poll shows that Trump is up dramatically in popularity, and the American public agrees with the Iran war peace treaty. The American people agree with President Trump's decision, and so do I. Because if the GOP loses the midterms, it's all over. Turn out the lights. Trump's presidency is over. The MAGA agenda is over. The U.S. economy is in trouble. The GOP is in trouble. The secure border and mass deportation are on life support. America first quickly becomes America last. And one other P.S., Trump and the GOP losing the midterms is terrible news for Israel, too. Devastating. Trump and America can't help Israel if radical Jew-hating, Hamas-loving Democrats are in charge, blocking everything Trump tries to do. Israel needs Trump to do whatever it takes to win the midterms. That's in their long-term best interests. After Trump and the GOP win the midterms, after oil and gas go down dramatically, after inflation and interest rates go down dramatically, after the economy booms, Trump will have all the capital in the world. After all of that, Trump will be in position to help Israel again, and if necessary, to severely punish Iran again until they comply with the terms of the deal. After winning, everything is easy. So President Trump, good move. America agrees. I agree. Now you're in a position to shock the world and win the midterms. But there's one thing left to do to make sure we win. Stop Democrats from rigging and stealing elections. Signed a presidential national security emergency for elections. It's the same as the SAVE Act, except you don't need the Senate to pass it, and it can't be challenged in court. This is the SAVE Act on steroids, Trump style. The Supreme Court already ruled back in 1983 that it takes a 2/3 vote in both houses of Congress to overturn it, and you get it all, President Trump. Voter ID, proof of citizenship, just like the SAVE Act, but also severe limits on mail-in ballots, which the SAVE Act did not have, and vote by paper ballot, which the SAVE Act did not have. This is the whole enchilada. This makes the SAVE Act look like the B team. This is how we ensure a GOP midterm victory, at which point you could spend the next 2 years making America great again. You did what you had to do in Iran, and then you secured the border, and then you secure the election, and the victory is ours. That's my commentary. It's kind of combining two ideas. One, that the Iran peace deal that a lot of people are criticizing is good because we had to, prevent a worldwide global depression. We had to prevent oil running out. We had to prevent more inflation, higher gas prices in the United States. We had to prevent a midterm loss. And then also, once that's all done and things are looking good and the economy's booming this fall, Trump has a great upset midterm victory within grasp as long as he stops Democrats from cheating. So then it applies the second half of this thing. He's got to name, sign, declare a presidential national security emergency for elections. So it combines both those ideas. Excuse me, put the SAVE Act aside. We need this national security emergency for elections, much more important than the SAVE Act, much better than the SAVE Act, much more effective than the SAVE Act. Remember the COVID vaccine? This really is safe and effective. It's effective anyway. I don't know about safe, but it's definitely effective. Whereas the SAVE Act is not safe or effective. It's more like the COVID vaccine. So what are the big news stories today? I got a lot of stories here. And all of them have importance, all of them. Here's another good Trump story. Well, here's the shock poll. Let me give the shock poll first. Shock poll reveals Trump's approval rating has surged as voters deliver surprise verdict on Iran and the economy. Donald Trump's approval rating is rebounding after the White House made strides to end the war in Iran, sending oil prices plummeting. The president's approval rating has ticked up to 47%. It is the 80-year-old's highest approval rating this year. Just days before the U.S. launched its war against Iran in February, it was the last time it was even close to this high. For the past 3 months, Trump's approval rating has consistently stayed at 43%, and it actually went as low as 42%. The improvement signifies American voters' appreciation of the administration's efforts to end the nearly 4-month-long war. Polls conducted June 19th to 22nd. Today is what, the 23rd, I believe? So it was just conducted a couple of days ago. Yeah, today's 23rd. So that's the first thing. Let me see if there's more to this poll, though. So, it's the latest Daily Mail jail partners survey, and I found them to be very accurate. It's up 4 points compared to last month. According to the survey, Trump still holds a tight grip on the MAGA base, 82% approval, right? MAGA people love him. Independents, however, remain sour on the Republicans' leadership. Just 38% approval compared to 52% disapproval. Hispanic voters still firmly within Trump's camp, 45% approve, 41% disapprove. White voters, 46% approval rating. Black voters, 38% approval. Not bad. Not bad. President Trump appears to have gotten a direct approval bump from the Iran deal, putting him on actually the second highest rating of the year. Excuse me, I said it was the highest. Second highest rating of the year. So, look, you can argue all you want that we should have finished the job. You can argue all you want that we're abandoning Israel. I'm a just huge supporter of Israel. I defend Israel every chance I get. I'm not someone who's in the camp of Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens. I think they're disgusting and disgraceful, and they've been bought off by Qatar or some other Arab nation. They're not fighting in America's interests at all anymore. Or, for that matter, Marjorie Taylor Greene, another one, not fighting in America's interests. She just left the Republican Party today. She followed Tucker Carlson out the door. Truly amazing. And as that's happening, U.S. manufacturing hits 49-month high. 49-month high. President Trump is doing everything a human being can do to make America great again. And you got to stick with Trump. You just got to. I'm sorry. It's not like he can never be wrong. He's been wrong. Believe me, he's wrong about the COVID vaccine. He was wrong about appointing Attorney General of the United States, Barr. Was it Bill Barr? But for the most part, the guy is right almost all the time, and he's fighting for us almost all the time, and people only appreciate the glass half empty. They don't appreciate the glass half full. He does so many great things. They don't hear about him, so they only fester on the ones that they don't like. Here's another story you got to hear, because it shows you where Democrats really are. So no matter how unpopular Trump is, no matter how unpopular the GOP is, no matter how little the GOP Senate accomplishes, they couldn't even get the SAVE Act passed. This is why we're going to win, because you're dealing with people so extreme. First of all, you've got Jariliza Avia Chevalier. She's the latest darling of the Democrat Party's ascending socialist wing. And she's running for Congress in New York. And she says all deportations are wrong. And I covered this on I believe I did on my Top 10 show on Saturday, that she said, somebody asked her, what about someone who's not accused but convicted of murder and rape? And she said, nope, I wouldn't even deport them. All deportations are racism. Can't deport anybody. That's the Democrat Party. And then here, far-left Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson expands the trans femicide state of emergency. While the city suffers nearly 200 murders this year, transgender case is a tiny fraction of that, and yet he's calling it a trans femicide state of emergency, prioritizing a minuscule number of murder cases tied to transgender politics. Well, Chicago grapples with persistent violent crime, claiming about 200 lives this year. The vast majority of homicide victims in the city of Chicago are men, and the handful of cases tied to transgender make up a tiny fraction of the total. Trans femicide, defined by the city and far-left activists as the targeted killing of a transgender woman motivated by transphobic and misogynistic hatred. On Sunday, Johnson boasted of his prioritization of transgender crime victims. For far too many Chicagoans, the sense of belonging they deserve in their city has been denied by exclusion and barriers to opportunity in spaces that should feel safe and welcoming. Since declaring a trans femicide state of emergency, our administration has strengthened. If you're a man, and I'm not even talking about a white man, if you're just a man, white, black, Latino, and you hear this crap, if you're a father, if you're a husband, if you're a grandfather, and you listen to this communist, sick, mentally ill dribble about transgenders who have penises and vaginas, or penises replacing vaginas, or vaginas replacing penises, and you don't get nauseous and vomit, and you don't think it's the sickest, mentally ill, mentally deranged thing you've ever heard, I'm sorry, but you're part of the problem. There's just something wrong with you, too. Poll: most Democrats say illegal aliens should remain in the U.S. and apply for citizenship. You know, you're just dealing with most Democrats say illegal aliens. They're not even saying separate criminals from regular ones. Most Democrats say illegal aliens should remain in the U.S. and eventually apply for citizenship. People don't put things together, you know? Like today, you know what I got in the mail today? First time in my life, I got my Medicare card in the mail. It starts July 1st. Wayne Root's on Medicare July 1st. So some liberal listening to this show is going to write on social media that Wayne Root is now happy to be on government welfare. So hold on one sec, all right, Daniel? Just keep it slow. I'm going to talk a little bit here. Wayne Root now likes the government and government handouts. First of all, guess who paid into Medicare for the last 45 years? Wayne Root. That's my money they're paying me back if I get sick. Okay? That's my money. I paid into Medicare. I believe last I looked, I paid $300,000 over my lifetime into Medicare. So that's my $300,000. I'm not getting government welfare. When I get Social Security, that's going to be my money. I'm being paid back, and I never got interest on it. So don't tell me anything. Don't tell me any you know what. Don't tell me, because you're a liar. You're a loser. I've never taken a government check in my life other than a student loan that I paid back in full with interest, and now I'll get Medicare, which I paid into and never got anything back, including interest, for 45 years, and then I will eventually take Social Security in a few years and also get paid back my own money that I never got paid back and never even got interest. Second of all, the fact that Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security are about to go under, well, I shouldn't count Medicaid. Medicare and Social Security, they're constantly warning it's going to go under, it's going to go broke, is because we're spending all of our money on illegal aliens. Do you understand that? Every dollar we spend on illegals is a dollar that isn't available for good people in America, citizens born here, worked their whole lives, and they can't get there, and legal immigrants too, who can't get their Medicare. It's going to be cut, it's going to be eliminated, because we're wasting our money on millions of illegals we can't afford. And third of all, Democrats keep talking about affordability. And I explained yesterday that rents are 30% higher in big American cities because of illegal aliens and that demand. They're just, and healthcare is flying. It's because of the demand of illegals. You're adding 30 million new people, 40 million new people, and you don't have a single new doctor. You don't have a single new apartment built. And so everything goes up. Your costs are going up because of illegals. So I think most Americans, being nice people, would have no problem with legal immigrants coming to America. But the problem we have is people not following the law, breaking the law, violating the Constitution, breaking into our country, and then stealing our money and then ruining our lives because you're taking away from our budget, so we don't have Social Security, we don't have Medicare, we don't have money spent on roads and infrastructure, and our rents are 30% higher because of you. And our medical bills are 30%, 50% higher because of you, and we're waiting in long lines because of you for any sort of health care, any sort of medicine from a doctor. You're waiting in a long line behind all kinds of illegals. So yes, we're pissed, and we have every right to be. You can't come to my country and take my place in line. All right, speaking of health, Energized Health is the sponsor. Good timing. You know, it's so funny. I never know what ad I'm reading next. Patar puts them in order, leaves them on my desk. Patar, my director, and here I have them. and I never know what they are. And it seems like almost every time the article I read happens to be something that has to do with whoever it is. If we're reading a gun live read, right? If we're reading something for Bond Arms, I just happen to be reading something about the Second Amendment. If we're reading Energized Health, I'm reading something about healthcare. It's kind of funny. So this segment of the show is sponsored by Energized Health. I joined the Energized Health program in November of 2020. It changed my life and my career. I lost 25 pounds of fat. I gained 10 pounds of muscle in only 88 days. That's me right there, the picture of me 15 years ago at the age of 50. And you can see me now in the gym at the age of 65 in just a matter of 4 weeks now. I gained energy, intercellular hydration, got in the best shape of my life. I gained 4 new TV shows past the age of 61. I don't think that's ever happened in TV history. And I know why it happened. The fat melted off my face. I'm almost 64 years old. I look younger now than I did at age 50. That's impossible. Energized Health is my fountain of youth. It reversed aged me. I'll be on this program for life because it's simple, it's easy, it's healthy. If I keep on this program, I believe I won't have to use my Medicare. For decades, that's the hope. For decades, Energized Health has transformed the lives of thousands of people using the breakthrough science of intercellular hydration. Energized Health can work effectively along with GLP-1s like Ozempic and Mounjaro to help you minimize the bad side effects of them. So if you're on GLP-1s, you still need Energized Health because they have horrible side effects, and Energized Health minimizes or reduces or gets rid of those terrible side effects. Here's your chance to be like Wayne. Right now, Energized Health is offering my fans 40% off. Just say WAR when you speak to them or type in WAR when you go to the website. EnergizedHealth.com. EnergizedHealth.com. Say WAR. Go on the same journey as me and get 40% off. I hope it changes your life, energizes your life, supercharges your life, and reverse ages you the way it did for me. EnergizedHealth.com. Promo code WAR. We'll be right back. We got a guest. We got all kinds of news stories I haven't gotten to yet. Look at this. There's so much news I haven't even gotten to yet. We'll be right back. Wayne Allyn Root, Warzone Live, official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. RootForAmerica.com is my official website. Root, my last name, RootForAmerica.com. And then you can email me anytime, WayneRoot@gmail.com. One last thing I got to get in, and that is that at 6 o'clock East Coast time, 3 o'clock Pacific, I take calls, and then they air on my show tonight, America Speaks at midnight, East Coast time, 9 p.m. Pacific. You can watch yourself talking to Wayne Root, or you can leave a voicemail 24 hours a day. Call me live at 6 p.m. today, 6 p.m. East Coast, 3 p.m. Pacific, 800-347-ROOT, 800-347-ROOT, 800-347-7668, or leave a voicemail 24/7, and I'll read it on the air. We'll be right back. Hey, Wayne Allyn Root, America Speaks. You call in and we talk about it. Your opinions, your comments, your questions. How do you call in? 800-347-ROOT, 800-347-ROOT, 800-347-7668. The show airs at midnight, East Coast time, 9 p.m. Pacific, but we tape it at 6 p.m. East Coast time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So you call in at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I talk to you, and it airs that night at midnight. The phone number again, 800-347-ROOT. That number is 24/7. You can leave voicemails. We play your voicemails on the air as well.
Hey, Wayne, what do you think about Obama?
He was a communist, socialist, Marxist radical.
I agree.
Or you can email me, WayneRoot@gmail.com. I'll read your email live on the air with your comments or questions. America Speaks. Hi, I'm Wayne Allyn Root, CEO, conservative TV and radio host, and best-selling author. I believe in America and American exceptionalism. America is now focused on energy independence. Enter Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. It took 40 years to piece together this 40,000-acre giant gas discovery. The first 4,000 feet drilled so far are estimated to contain up to 6 trillion cubic feet of gas, making it one of the largest natural gas discoveries in the Rocky Mountain region in the last 30 years. This is how we power the AI future of America with clean natural gas. Headed by oil and gas legend Mark Bruner, whose previous public companies, Pinnacle Energy and Ultra Petroleum, delivered spectacular returns for investors. At its peak, a $10,000 investment in Ultra Petroleum turned into over $13 million. To learn more about this Lost Soldier oil and gas opportunity, go to lostsoldier.com. Fill out the contact form. That's lostsoldier.com. Hi, this is Wayne Allyn. If you're sick and tired of supporting woke companies, I have great news for you. You don't have to anymore. You can shop where my family shops at GreatPatriotStore.com. My team researched thousands of companies for my best-selling book, The Great Patriot Boycott Book, and one stood out above all, GreatPatriotStore.com. This is the answer to inflation. Hundreds of household products that you're already buying. Much higher quality, no toxic chemicals, delivered right to your door at incredible prices. 20,000 American families are joining every month, and you should too. And now they've got the beef, pasture raised with no hormones, antibiotics, or mRNA ever, exclusively available only to their members. Like Costco or Sam's Club, you need to become a member. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com, fill out the form, and they'll contact you right away. And boom, you're a member. For a limited time, the annual membership is $1. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com. That's GreatPatriotStore.com. All right, Wayne Allyn. The Root's on fire. Your Secretary of War, Wayne Allyn. This is the Wayne Street Media, and I am the loudest MAGA mouth in the world. I got a text in the break from my good friend, Governor Rob Blagojevich. I call him Blago, former governor of Illinois, Democrat governor, but now he calls himself a Trumpocrat. He's a Trump Democrat. He says Mayor Johnson declared a trans femicide state of emergency in Chicago. I just covered that story. After one trans person was murdered. Too bad he won't declare the same emergency for young black men. 39 people were shot and 6 killed on this weekend of his posting. 85% of murder victims in Chicago are black. From Rod Blagojevich, otherwise known as Blago. This is our guest segment. And I hear noise in the background. I don't know what's going on there, Daniel. Someone's screaming in the background. All right, so Freedom Fest is the sponsor of this segment. This is our guest segment, and I want to make sure we put our kudos in for the people that write the front of the checks, right? Sign the front of the checks, so they pay for this, you get it for free. Freedom Fest is the World's Fair of Liberty. It's coming fast, July 8th to 11th at Caesars Forum Convention Center in Las Vegas. The most popular event at Freedom Fest every year is the mock trial. This year, ICE will be put on trial, and I will be the defense attorney. Wayne Allyn is the defense attorney, and I'm up against a real-life attorney from a big-shot law firm and a judge and a jury. Star witnesses for the defense, for my defense of ICE, will be Superman actor Dean Cain and veteran Border Patrol agent J.J. Carroll. The 12 jurors will be selected from the audience. It will take place on Friday, July 10th at 5 p.m. Friday. Oh, actually, they're saying 5, but my understanding is 6:15 p.m. I'll double-check that for you. Friday, July 10th, I think it's at 6:15 because that's when C-SPAN is televising it nationwide. I've arranged for a special one-day pass for my fans to attend Freedom Fest that day to watch the mock trial. My fans only get $50 off the registration fee. Get your tickets now. Go to Freedom Fest. Use the promo code WAR50 for $50 off. My fans only, WAR50 for $50 off. It's a one-day pass, so you can watch everything else going on at Freedom Fest the whole day and the mock trial that night. And you can watch Wayne Root defend ICE. Go to freedomfest.com, promo code WAR50, and get $50 off. I can't wait to meet all of you there. And before and after that mock trial, I'll be meeting all of you. So, as you know, I'm a very friendly guy. All right, my guest is here, Mel K, host of The Mel K Show, author of the new book, Infiltration Instead of Invasion, America Betrayed. Her website, themelkshow.com, themelkshow.com. Mel K, welcome to the Wayne Allyn Show. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. Very excited to be here.
So tell me about this book. I mean, well, first of all, before we even get to the book, there's clearly a communist color revolution going on in the United States, a Marxist takeover of the United States. Everything Trump does, for the most part, I mean, there's some things I disagree with, but most everything he does is fantastic, and yet the results are really not much because there's a judge standing in the way of every single thing he tries to do. There's some insurrectionist Obama, Clinton, Biden judge who says no to everything Trump wants to do. I believe they're all bought off. They're owned by China, the Chinese Communist Party, the Mexican drug cartel, the deep state, the D.C. swamp. What do you believe are the roots of this Marxist invasion and Marxist revolution and this communist color revolution?
Well, it comes, this is a part of the reason I wrote my book is because I needed to understand the architecture that is functioning above our nation that apparently we have no control over. And the more I dug into it, the more I realized that our country essentially turned into something very different when the Dulles brothers walked into the two highest unelected positions in America, the Secretary of State, John Foster Dulles, and Allen Dulles, the CIA. And it's my belief that from that point forward, the State Department, USAID, CIA, National Endowment for Democracy ceased to work for the United States of America and rather became a part of the international banking cartel and global public-private partnership that is running above our nation. And frankly, Donald Trump winning in 2016 was unacceptable to these people. They had plans, I believe, before the end of World War II to have a World War III on the continent of Europe and had been planning for it for a very long time. And all of a sudden, Trump won, and this was a existential threat to the CIA and everything they've been doing with regime change for decades. And I believe that they turned the entire playbook they've been using since the 50s to regime change other countries on the United States of America. And we are still in that color revolution. And the people that are responsible for it are not being held accountable. And as long as that goes on, we are going to see them nonstop try to get in the way of everything. They do not want the United States of America to succeed. They believe in global governance. Barack Obama, as you know, signed us on to Agenda 2030 in 2015. It is a nation-state ending plan. It is a global governance, totalitarian, technocratic, global model that doesn't believe in borders, doesn't believe in nation states, and wants to control from above. And they are not having the United States, and we the people have a voice, so we have to take it back. But I think the architecture was built long ago, and that architecture needs to be dismantled.
I believe very strongly in borders. I think we need a wall between California and the rest of the country. Especially in Nevada, where I live, we need a wall between California and Nevada. Although the good news is, I must tell you, Mel, the good news is it's kind of like Florida. Everyone assumed that when the whole New York and New Jersey and Connecticut moved to Florida, everybody running from COVID would be Democrats and they turn it blue. And instead, they turned it bright, bright red. Same thing's happening in South Carolina, bright, bright red. North Carolina is getting a little more red. And all of it is because the people running away were conservatives who didn't want to live in New York anymore and didn't want to follow COVID rules. And the ones coming from New York still to this day are conservatives. The ones coming from California to Las Vegas, and they're coming by the tens of thousands. They're driving prices up like you can't even believe. When I got to Las Vegas 30 years ago, Mel, you could buy a house for $100,000, $150,000. And I immediately bought two homes and I rented them out. I bought two houses for like 120 and 130. And today in Summerlin, where I live, which is like the Scottsdale or the Beverly Hills, Las Vegas, we were out looking for houses, my wife and I thought I'd get a really nice, bigger house than I have now for about $2 million, and everything I saw was $4 million or $5 million. That's how expensive it's to live in Las Vegas now. To live in the nice place of Las Vegas, it's millions of dollars. It's unbelievable. But it's because all these Republicans are running away from California and they're moving to Summerlin, and they sold their houses for millions in LA, and they're buying big houses in Summerlin. So they've driven the prices up to the roof. It's really crazy. But the good news is it's proof that our philosophy works. Everybody's leaving California, New York, New Jersey. Why? Because liberalism and socialism don't work. Why do you think rich people are running for their lives?
Well, we have to also understand that this is not the Democrat Socialists of America and their partners at CARE and Muslim Brotherhood are running all over the country. They don't even care about the federal elections. They're going after the mayor's races, the city council, the school boards.
And winning.
Yeah, and they're winning, but they're winning, though. We have to remember they are aligned with Progressive International. They are aligned with the Center for American Progress. They are aligned with global socialism. It's exactly what is going on in the EU. We're seeing, and they all went over to Spain. I don't know why we are allowing the Democrat Socialist of America to run at all or to be a party. We don't allow communists. They are revolutionary Marxists that don't believe in borders. They don't believe in jail. They don't believe in
police.
Anything.
They don't believe in police.
No. And
it's
frankly, It's our education system, though. Everything, I'm telling you, this is what I've found. Everything post-World War II was geared towards a third world war and the controlled demolition of the United States. And had Donald Trump not won, we would be way into it. So
Yes.
the hatred of Donald Trump is really, as I've said to him myself, he would say, they're not after me, they're after you, and I'm in the way. The truth is, they're not after America, they're after the world, and America is in the way. And that is who is pumping up these revolutionary Marxists, not Americans. Yet, you know, people think that. And then there's so many Democrats that don't even know. They're so brainwashed from the MK Ultra operation of Trump being the problem that they will vote against anything that Trump does just because it's Trump. It is the most insane, you know, situation we have right now. And they'll just vote D. They don't realize that the Democrat Socialists are no different than the National Socialist Worker Party of Germany of the 30s.
Germany, Nazi
These
Germany,
are
yeah.
the same thing. It's the
Well,
same
and-
thing. It's the same money.
And Mel, you know, I love Trump, and I'm a friend of Trump, and I had an Oval Office visit recently, and I love the guy, but that doesn't mean I can't criticize him. I'm going to give you a major criticism of Trump right now. For some reason, when you talk about like brainwashing, he doesn't realize that the COVID vaccine and his stolen election in 2020 are completely connected. And COVID and the 2020 are completely connected. He has no clue about this. And he doesn't understand all these Democrats that are acting so crazy and rabid and nutty and mentally ill and mentally deranged have all taken 20 of the jabs. And they're all nuts. They've lost their minds. They're not. He doesn't understand that. And he doesn't understand that Dr. Fauci wanted COVID here because he was working with Democrats and the Chinese Communist Party to destroy Trump's chance of re-election. All of it is connected, and he has no idea about this, and I don't know why. Do you agree with me? First of all, let's start with that.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. I think it's a little bigger than that, too. In my book, I dig into 44 to 54, the Dulles brothers changing the world, particularly in the United States.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that. I don't know anything about that. I didn't even know they were Dulles brothers. I never heard that story. Obviously, I know the Dulles Airport, but I didn't know who was named after. So one was the head of the CIA, and the other one was what now? Secretary of State?
The head of the Department of State. And but what you have to know before that is during World War II, they were both in Switzerland. They both were lawyers on Wall Street at Sullivan and Cromwell. And then yes, exactly. And Sullivan and Cromwell represented the international banks and the international multinational corporations. So
all these guys are the same, I swear to God. They're all the same.
And they haven't changed.
I'm a son of a butcher, Mel. I'm a son of a butcher. My father had a white butcher outfit and bloodstains. I don't know from these white shoe law firms. And I did get into Columbia University, and I applied for Goldman Sachs, and I never heard back from them. I applied to Merrill Lynch, never heard back from them. Because they only have like 4 openings in the whole country, and they give it to 4 billionaire sons. No normal person gets these jobs. They're all brainwashed billionaire liberals. It's the weirdest thing, and they hate real people. And that's why I never had a chance at these jobs. I never understood that at the time.
No, and they and while they were
Cromwell.
in Switzerland, which was obviously not neutral, they created this international banking infrastructure and then gave all themselves immunity. They created the CIA and gave it, you know, opaque budget, no oversight, no nothing, and then they walk into the 2 highest unelected positions in America, the Secretary of State and the CIA under Eisenhower. And I believe that from that point on, the State Department, USAID, the CIA, National Endowment for Democracy ceased to even work for the United States. I think they were all reconfigured to be a tentacle of the international banking cartel and the global public-private partnership. And at this point, I don't think the CIA ever worked for the United States. I think they always worked to protect the international infrastructure of endless wars for profit. And I believe Donald Trump was an existential threat to them. Not
bankers,
I
right?
don't think people.
They're protecting bankers, the Rothschilds, the Bilderbergs. Those are all the people they protect all day long, right?
Yep. The endless war for profit model. They got away with it World War I, World War II. They were all ready for World War III. I believe before the end of World War II, they were preparing it. And in comes Donald Trump to ruin everything. And frankly, thank God for us and the world. But at this point, we have to be honest. The CIA is very involved on our soil and has been running the color revolution here since 2016. They don't even deny it. They have an NGO called the Steady State. And this guy, Cash, who runs it, he said that when Donald Trump won, 150 CIA agents that did the regime change operations over with, of course, Norm Eisen in the EU, essentially turned the entire playbook here and wrote a letter to General Flynn, apparently, before Donald Trump even was inaugurated, saying that the CIA thought Trump was an existential threat to the post-World War II foreign policy. Yeah, thank God. And then they all said that Flynn ignored him. The guy laughs. He says, then Flynn's gone. Then I sent it to McMaster. He ignored it. And then we decided we had to do something. So all roads lead to Langley with what's going on since 2016. And if we don't deal with the lawfare people at Brookings, like Norm Eisen, Mark Elias, all these people that have been running this, the Obama administration, a lot of people don't realize, Brennan was the head of the CIA in Saudi Arabia for 12 years. He's the only intelligence guy that went with Obama, who's a Manchurian candidate.
Isn't it true that he became a Muslim, that he converted to Islam? Is that not true?
That's what they say. That's what they say. And
how
and
bizarre
it's not a
is
surprise.
that? How
But also
bizarre is that?
Both Brennan and Comey in their youth were communists. I mean, it's just so crazy. This is like looking at George H.W. Bush and realizing his father was indicted for working with the Nazis, and then he ends up running the CIA. I mean, we have been dealing since the 50s with such a betrayal to the American people. And frankly, we have paid for it all, our taxpayers, and they set it up this way. So we paid for the entire Cold War. We paid for the Reconstruction after the war. We paid for the entire war on terror. Both wars have no defined enemy. And then we paid for the entire fraud that is the climate change that kicked off in the 90s. And that's trillions and trillions of U.S. taxpayer dollars missing. And I think most people don't know. The IMF, the World Bank, the Bank of International Settlements, and all their banks, 63 banks, have complete immunity since 1945. And
Just like
we can't
Big Pharma.
look into them. Yeah,
Just like the vaccine
just like
companies.
The UN. Just like the,
We
I
just
mean,
give everyone
Donald
immunity. It's great. Oh, my,
and to
unbelievable.
protect themselves. They have no oversight. They run above our country, and they've been
And no
running the
risk.
color revolution. No
risk.
Unless we
After they
decide
destroy
that
everyone's
they don't.
life, no risk. Unbelievable.
Right.
Right. Why is the timing of this book important? Now, let's mention the name of the book real quick. It is The Infiltration Instead of Invasion. America Betrayed, 1944 to 1954. So it's the post-World War decade, and it's mostly about the Dulles brothers and how they put things in place to destroy our country from their government perch. I guess you could say, I assume the Dulles brothers were the antithesis and the enemies of Joe McCarthy, I would guess, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, bigger than that, it wasn't just them. It was also McCloy, all these different people that we should know their names, Harriman. I just believe that these people, that they built an architecture that we are still living under, and that's the reason Donald Trump can't get a lot done. That's the reason we have foreign entities on our soil. I don't know if you know, the IMF and the World Bank on our soil in D.C., the United States has no jurisdiction over them. This 1945 International Organization Immunity Act, and then the 47 CIA Act, and then the 49 CIA Secrecy Act. If we removed the three of them, we might actually take back our sovereignty and independence. And that's why it's important, because if you read the 27 grievances, that is where we are. And I believe the enemy is above our nation and can be dismantled if we know its existence is real and it's there and it can be done. And I really hope Trump just pulls a Lincoln at some point and says, you know what, I'm going to dismantle the whole thing.
The things you're talking about remind me, I had a guest on, Dane Wigington. He's like the world's expert on chemtrails,
I know.
right? And we were talking about the fact that the sky's above us in Vegas, as an example, and all my fans say in every city they're in, even in the country, in the middle of Kentucky, right, in the middle of a rural area, they say it's clear in the morning, it's blue, it's sunny, and then all of a sudden, all these planes crisscross and all this crap is sprayed, and then the air is foggy and they're breathing in poison. And I asked him, if he's such an expert on chemtrails, why isn't Trump and RFK Jr. stopping chemtrails? You know what his answer was? Because they don't run the country. There's someone above them that runs the country. And if they tried to stop chemtrails, they would, I believe he said, they would both be assassinated in a day. Is it really that bad that Donald Trump doesn't run the country? Is it really that bad? Wow.
Yeah, they protect themselves and they're very well protected and they seem unafraid. But as long as we are allowing this, because what you said is true, not only do I believe that the Transition Integrity Project group, led by Anita Dunn and Rosa Brooks over at Georgetown and Norm Eisen and them, they gamed out how they could get Trump out of office in 2020. They also had Event 201, which of course USAID and CIA paid for. CIA and USAID paid for the COVID. And frankly, it is all connected to the 2020 election. And the one thing I don't understand is why they haven't indicted the 51 intelligence agents that conspired to defraud the people of the United States of America before the election. That is the biggest election fraud ever.
Mel, why didn't they indict Dr. Fauci? He's killed millions of people. And before he killed millions, he killed orphans and dogs, beagles. This guy is Dr. Mengele. I don't understand why we haven't hung him. He needs to be hung after a Nuremberg trial, and nobody's doing a damn thing.
I know. I don't get it, but I do believe that it is because these people have some kind of immunity. Yeah, and they have immunity. They gave themselves immunity. And the only way that we can fight this is to have Trump rescind the immunity, but I don't even know if he knows that they are all immune, and that's what's going on. I also cannot believe that nobody has been charged with sedition and treason. I mean, John Brennan and the entire crew, back to Hillary Clinton, it's sedition and treason. And the craziest part, Wayne, is that it was a global coup against the United States run by the CIA, MI6, and the Five Eyes nations to overthrow the duly elected president of the United States in 2016, and no one has been held accountable. If America no longer acknowledges sedition and treason as something real, then we don't have a country. So somebody's got to figure it out.
There's sedition and treason every day. I think Karen Bass should be under arrest right now for sedition and treason.
Me too.
When mayors say we will not comply with ICE, they're saying insurrection. We don't follow the laws of the United States. You know what I said the other day? I said, I used to live in L.A. Thank God I've been gone for a while. I've ran away from that place. But I lived there 15 years. Let's say I woke up one day and I said, I don't feel like paying California state taxes. They would put me in jail in 5 minutes. But a freaking, and if this wasn't a national thing, I would use a different word than freaking. But an effing illegal alien can say, I don't believe I have to comply with the law. And nobody cares. I don't get it. What's the difference? Why can't I say I'm not paying my taxes anymore? I've had it. I refuse to pay them. But you'll notice, and as I say that, I realized I'm right. They're really coming after people who don't pay their taxes in California. They just announced some comedian, Carlos Mencia or something like that. He's an Hispanic comedian. He didn't pay like $3 million in taxes, and they're putting him in jail. So, I mean, how come that's bad, but an illegal alien doesn't have to comply with the law?
Because they have used the illegal aliens as weapons against us. It has been the controlled demolition of the United States of America once they put Obama in there. And the truth of the matter is that the American people don't even know, because we are allowing this twisted intelligence operation that is the media to control the minds of people. We have been through a psychological warfare. You know, I look back to Colonel Aquino and Mind Wars. That is what we are under. And until somebody breaks that, listen, all I know is Donald Trump is going to have to, I pray to God, do what Lincoln had to do. You know, Lincoln had to do what he had to do, and he called the Insurrection Act, and he arrested a lot of people, and he proved that they were guilty. And I mean, that's, I feel like, where we are. And the whole No Kings thing is another operation of the same Transition Integrity Project.
Communist color revolution,
Yeah, and it's John Podesta, Center for American Progress, who, by the way, under the Autopen Mafia gave John Podesta $300 billion to spend. Where's that money? You know what I mean? Like, where's Samantha Power's money?
It's the same people all the time. It's the Soros family. It's that billionaire, was it Singham, the guy in China? It's all the same people that are literally out in the open trying to destroy the United States of America. All right, look, I got to go, because if we don't take an ad break, I lose my funding here. So I got to take an ad break. But I want to mention your book once again. Mel K, the host of the Mel K Show, author of the new book, Infiltration Instead of Invasion, America Betrayed, 1944 to 1954. As you see, she's a master of knowing everything going on, all the names behind the scenes. You're a bright lady, man. You must have an IQ of 150 or above. Her website is themelkshow.com, themelkshow.com. Wayne Root is just a fun guy and semi-comedian, and you are a genius. And I appreciate all the vast knowledge and memory you've got of all these names and all this history. Very interesting. We'll have you back again. I really appreciate you as a guest.
Thank you, sir. You're fun. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mel. Bye-bye. We'll be right back. All right, Wayne Allyn Root. Joining me is Silvano De Genova, owner of Tangible Investments. Sil, I've known you forever, and I've been buying gold forever and silver forever and rare coins forever. It's great to have you with us. With the Iran deal done, how do you see the economy and inflation moving in the near future?
Well, nothing's really changed. We're in an inflationary environment. The government deficits are through the roof. The reality is that oil prices may come down, but inflation is going to be with us long term.
How does inflation impact the demand for gold and silver?
Well, the more inflation there is, the more demand there's going to be for gold. People want to get away from their paper assets. They want to hold something that is going to hold its value or appreciate in an inflationary times. And gold and hard assets are the only real thing that are an insurance policy against this type of inflation. And the reality is we may still have rampant inflation. And we saw that under a different administration, and this one's doing okay to try and buckle it down. But long term, government spending is not going to stop. The world government spending is not going to stop. And that's going to be good for gold and hard assets into perpetuity at this point.
And world debt is not going to stop, and America's debt is not going to stop. It just keeps getting higher and higher. How should buyers of gold and silver know which gold products to buy and what to avoid?
Well, they certainly don't want to buy products that trade or are being offered at big premiums. If you're going to buy gold as your hedge, you want it as close to the spot price of gold as possible. Right now, we have an anomaly. You can actually buy some fairly rare coins at no premium or very little premium to just bullion coins, like $20 gold pieces that are 100 years old. We're selling them at $50 over the melt price. Okay. Or you can buy bullion coins from us at a very small premium over the spot price. There's a lot of gimmicks out there. A lot of companies selling certified gold coins at big premiums and saying they're a gold investment. Well, they're not. I mean, you're going to have to overcome their markup.
If you want gold, silver, precious metals, or rare coins from a real firm with real credibility and honest pricing, call Sil. Tangible Investments is Silvano's company, 888-330-4351, or go to the website they created just for my fans, rootforgold.com. Tell them War sent you. All right, Wayne Root, the Root's on fire. Hey, I'm really happy. My voice has hung in there better today than yesterday. I'm on the comeback trail. So, yesterday, if you weren't with us yesterday, or if you were with us yesterday, it really doesn't matter. I want to repeat it anyway. This may be my number one story in my top 10 this week. I don't know yet. Because obviously it's only Wednesday and something bigger could happen, but it's certainly going to be in my final four. I'll guarantee you that. It's a huge story and nobody will report it. Fox News refused to run Senator Ron Johnson's op-ed on the deadly government COVID vax lies. The government knew, and the medical agencies like the FDA and the CDC knew that the COVID vaccine was killing people and injuring people and causing heart attacks and causing myocarditis in young men. It knew that it was doing harm. What's the Hippocratic Oath? Do no harm. First thing most important thing a doctor must do no harm. They knew that doctors were giving people shots and were killing them. And they absolutely knew it, and they covered it up, and they refused to tell anyone. And he writes a commentary about it after having congressional hearings and proving it, and Fox News refuses to run it. You know why? Nobody seems to understand why that would be. First of all, no one even knows about it. Second of all, no one, if they heard it, would understand why. They go, I don't understand, Wayne. I thought Fox News was one of the good guys. Fox News, 1 out of every 3 ads is from Big Pharma. It's all drug ads. So Fox News probably makes like $1 billion a year from drug ads. Most of them from one company, probably Pfizer. Pfizer's the biggest, but Moderna, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson. Woody Johnson owns Johnson & Johnson, and he's the owner of the New York Jets, and he's Donald Trump's best friend. Yeah, it's all tied together. They lie about everything. So they told them, Fox News knows. Maybe they weren't even told. They don't even have to be told. If we run an op-ed that says something bad about the COVID vaccine, they'll pull $600 million or $800 million or $1 billion worth of ads, and we can't pay our newsroom salaries. Even billionaires lie awake at night, like the Murdochs. What if we don't have any money? Oh, my God. We can't pay these people. We'll have to close Fox News. Do you understand how bad it is? The New York Times took the money from the government to not talk about bad things about the COVID vaccine. And the Washington Post took the money, and I think the New York Post even took the money, conservative. And I know Fox News, conservative, took the money, and I know Newsmax took the money. I read it. Newsmax took like $20 million from the government to never allow a guest on like Wayne Root who says something bad about COVID vaccines. This is incredible conflicts of interest. And what's amazing is that all the lawyers are liberal in America. You find me a class action lawyer, I'll file you a Democrat donor. So the lawyers believe the lies too. So there's no class action suits yet. At the moment, there's no class action suits on TV that say if you took the COVID vaccine and you were harmed, join our $1 trillion class action lawsuit. First of all, they only sue when there's money. They sue when there's a private sector company. So they sued Big Pharma for the opioid problem. Matter of fact, I just met a lawyer who made $1 billion on that lawsuit against opioids. And he knew he could sue Big Pharma. And I had met years ago in Los Angeles a lawyer who was a billionaire because he sued the cigarette companies for lung cancer that they caused. And he made $1 billion. So there's a lot of rich lawyers out there who have sued private companies, but you can never make money suing the government, right? And you can't make money suing Big Pharma if they had immunity. And they were given immunity. But here's the catch. You only get immunity. It's broken immediately if you committed fraud. And we know they committed fraud. We know they lied about their trials. We know that people died in the trials and they didn't report it. So they broke their immunity. So you can break it. But the lawyers don't know this yet or don't believe it yet or don't even think it, don't even think about it. They just know there's immunity and they can't sue. But I'm going to give the lawyers a hint now. I'm going to make you very rich. I wish I was a lawyer because I should spend the next 3 years going to law school and then quit this job and sue Fox News and all the companies that took the money from the government to never allow Wayne Root as a guest to talk bad about the COVID vaccine. Because what you did was you killed all your own viewers. You murdered them by allowing the truth to be blocked out and giving no alternate point of view that this was a safety risk and dangerous and deadly. You killed your own viewers. And it's $1 billion lawsuit. It's $1 trillion lawsuit. What's Fox worth? Probably like $100 billion, Fox News, right? You could sue them for $1 trillion. And juries award treble damages. The jury might say $3 trillion. You could own Fox News tomorrow because they purposely took bribes to then not report the truth about the COVID vaccine. And people died. It is such a big story, and everyone's ignoring it. You know why? Because the media sticks together. You know what it's like? Like, I'm the biggest lover in the world of cops. I love cops. I'm always defending cops. But let's be honest. If a cop does something wrong, all the cops cover it up because cops love cops, especially if it's the guy next to you and you've shot at people together and been shot at together. I would always stick with my buddy. I'm like that, too. I stick with anyone I love. My friends I stick with, always, to the death. So cops stick with cops. So media sticks with media. So the New York Times is sticking with Fox News, believe it or not. And the Washington Post is sticking with the New York Times. They all hate each other, but on this one, they love each other. Just like cops might say, you know what? He did something dirty, but if he goes down, then eventually you're going to come after me. I'd rather no cops go down. I'm going to stick with him and cover up the crime. That happens all the time. Cops stick with cops. Every cop hates internal affairs. They all hate internal affairs. And for good reason. If I was a cop, I'd hate internal affairs too. I'm just commenting that cops stick together with cops. And lawyers stick together with lawyers. And media sticks together with media. And doctors stick together with doctors. You can't even find a doctor to testify against a doctor who's a horrible doctor who kills people. Because no doctor wants to testify against another doctor. So the whole media is refusing to report the story, A, of COVID deaths from the vaccine, and B, of the cover-up of ivermectin that killed millions of people, because ivermectin, they would never have died, and C, the cover-up of the deaths from the COVID vaccine, and D, the conspiracy by media to cover it up, because they're media and they won't report on another media's conspiracy. All right. 6 dead, 39 shot in Chicago bloodbath. You thought Iran was bad? You gotta be kidding me. This makes Iran look like child play. This was just one weekend. A mass drive-by shooting in the Princeton Park neighborhood injured 13 people during a Juneteenth gathering. You could say what you want about Jews. I've been at a lot of Jewish parties and no one ever had a drive-by. Ever. In the history of the world, no Jew ever drove by other Jews with a machine gun and shot them dead. There's a problem in the black community. Can anybody admit that? Jews don't shoot other Jews. Blacks kill blacks all day long. Does anyone notice this? It's dangerous to be in a black neighborhood. It's dangerous to be in a black party because someone's going to shoot you. There's no danger in a Jewish neighborhood. There's no danger in a white, rich neighborhood. No one's ever going to shoot you. There's a difference in these neighborhoods, and nobody is willing to talk about it because it's racist to tell the truth. And this is why Fox News can't have Wayne Root on, because I tell the truth. Nobody wants to hear the truth. And the other truth is that the entire problem in our country, number one problem is communist insurrectionist judges. Obama appointed judge blocks bans on buying soda with food stamps. You can't even block people from buying soda with food stamps if an Obama judge is involved. D.C. Circuit judges deliver another blow to Trump's Drain the Swamp mission. Activist judges block immediate plan to slash CFBP workforce by 2/3. This is the workforce for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB. Trump wanted to slash it by 2/3, and the D.C. Circuit says you can't do it. Meanwhile, nothing Democrats want ever works. City bus plan that inspired Zohran Madami's fare free scheme runs out of money and starts charging riders again. He said he was going to give free buses to everyone, free bus rides. And it was all inspired by the Kansas City fare free bus scheme. That's what inspired Zohran Mamdani to gift Big Apple commuters a free bus ride. But see, he based it on Kansas City, and Kansas City is broke. Pay as you go is returning because the Missouri metropolis of Kansas City ran out of money to fund free travel, and the $50 million experiment simply evaporated when the financial well went dry. The end of the 5-year zero fare transit experiment came as operating costs ballooned to about $15 million a year, double the initial expected price tag. What a shocker. Do you remember the train to nowhere in California? What a shocker. Everything doubles and triples and quadruples because the people making the estimates are morons, and they're always wrong. How about this one? The Department of Homeland Security demands New York sanctuary politicians honor a detainer for a man convicted of raping a corpse on the subway. Batar, did you hear what I just said?
No, I didn't.
So Felix Geronimo Rojas went on a subway and found a man dead, and in front of everyone took down his pants and raped him. And he just got 5 years in prison. Folks, and the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, has to demand that New York honor the detainers so they can deport him out of the United States. He raped a dead man in public on the subway and robbed him too, by the way. Not that it really matters. I think the robbery takes very small precedence. I think the rape is a little more important. But either way, you robbed and raped a dead man in public on a moving subway train while people were watching. Can you imagine the people screaming when they see a man being raped, a dead man being raped? And they got 5 years in jail. Now, am I crazy, or do you think that this man should have been shot dead? This man should get the electric chair. This man should be hung in a public square. This man should get the firing squad. This man should get a shot in the arm and be in lots of pain. Can you imagine giving him 5 years for raping a dead body on the subway? This is America today. And finally, the last story, I promise you. I got to get one more in. Antifa members convicted of terrorism charges on the attack on the Texas ICE detention center were today given 50 to 100 years in prison. There's a good one under President Donald Trump. Finally, 8 of the 10 Antifa members convicted of terrorism charges for an attack on a Texas ICE detention center were sentenced to 50 to 100 years in prison. The ringleader, Benjamin Song, got 100 years in prison. And Marciela Ruda was sentenced to 70 years in prison. Autumn Hill, 50 years. Zachary Evans, Savannah Batten, Megan Morris, Elizabeth Soto, 50 years in prison. Daniel Rolando Sanchez Estrada, I guess because the judge liked that he had 4 names, was sentenced to 30 years in prison. He got a little break because he had 4 names. If you could pay illegal aliens by the name, they'd all be rich. I've never seen people with so many names in my life. All right, they should have illegal as their middle name, though. That's the one that matters. VRA is the sponsor of this show as we say goodnight. Vertical Research Advisory. I'm not even going to read the ad because I know the ad by heart, right? Kip Herridge founded VRA 23 years ago. See how good I am. Since then, he's put out his newsletter. You get it every morning in the mail. I get it every morning for all 23 years. He's always right, whether the market's up or down, whether the economy's up or down. Money, doesn't matter. Makes money on the way up, makes money on the way down. He's beaten the market almost 90% of the time. Barron says the average money manager loses the market about 90% of the time. So Kip wins almost 90%. The average big shot on Wall Street loses 90%. It's meant for the little guy and the little gal, right? This isn't for rich people. It's for the little guy and the little gal, the average mom and pop stock investor. Maybe you put in 5,000 or 10,000, and at the end of the year, you're up 30%. How bad is that? It's pretty good. The last 3 years has been up 27% and 24%, I think it is, and then 50%. 3 great years that average out, I think, to like 30% over 3 years. He's been amazing, and he's my guy. I mean, he's my personal investment advisor. You just go to VRAinsider.com, VRAinsider.com, and you automatically get 2 weeks free. What do you got to lose? Nothing. What's your risk? Nothing. Watch it for 2 weeks, then you decide, but you'll stay for life, I believe. VRAinsider.com, automatically 2 weeks free. I'm Wayne Root. This is the night. We're gone. We're done. We get a little vacation break. I'm headed to Washington, D.C. I've got a big event in Washington. I will be back on Monday. As Arnold Schwarzenegger says, I will be back. And you can call me on my next show, America Speaks, at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Speak to me live on the air, on the phone and on the air. 800-347-ROOT, 800 toll-free 347-ROOT. That's 800-347-7668. Or you can leave a message there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I read your voicemail on the air. That's it. Call me at 6 p.m. Eastern, and let's talk on the air on America Speaks. I'm Wayne Root. Have a great day, and I'll see you back here on Monday. We have Lee Elsey filling in Thursday and Friday. Best of Wayne on Friday. Bye-bye. All right, Wayne on the Root. Dan Montano is with me. He's the CEO of Zicha Genesis Medicine, a biotech company developing medicines to treat Parkinson's, type 2 diabetes, and even heart disease. And now Zicha has a new breakthrough, exciting, to potentially reverse chronic pain. Dan, tell us about your breakthrough that could lessen or eliminate the pain for people suffering from neuropathy, back pain, or migraine headaches.
Very simple. As we've been dosing people for those other indications, they keep reporting to us the pain in their feet is gone. The pain in their back is gone. Their migraines have stopped. So as we started digging into it more over the last couple of months, we've discovered that nerve regeneration is something our molecule can treat. And we're starting to see people that we dose on Monday and Thursday, their back pain's gone. Their migraines have stopped. So we're now taking that to a medical research study here in Las Vegas.
Big one for me would be neuropathy foot pain, because I have several friends who have lived wonderful lives, successful, they're CEOs, and they could barely walk anymore because of neuropathy. What have you done for that?
Well, the people we've dosed for their diabetes have reported after a week or two that they don't have the pain anymore. So we're going to run with that and find out how much of that is true and how much of that we can repeat.
Amazing. What are your next steps?
Well, we're going to be getting a clearance here in Las Vegas to do a medical research study. We'll be doing it primarily for back pain, neuropathy, and headaches, migraine headaches primarily. We'll have that approval probably in 30 to 60 days and start dosing people here in Vegas.
And you're looking for test patients and investors, correct?
Same as with the type 2 diabetes. As you know, Wayne, you guys generate a lot of subjects for us to test, and you also produce a lot of investors for us. So we're looking for the same. Chronic back pain is everywhere. People have got it. It's serious, and we've been able to alleviate it. I'm excited. This could be the biggest thing around.
Dan, why is your approach to treating pain different?
Well, first of all, we don't camouflage the pain. We treat the nerve that is sick. We heal the nerves. With this white paper, which is on the website, curewar.com, is phenomenal. Everybody should be downloading that and reading this, like a science fiction novel on how your nerves regenerate. That's how we do it, on the nerves.
Dan Montano is the CEO of Zicha Genesis Medicine, the website cure-war.com, looking for test subjects and investors, cure-war.com. Hey, Wayne Allyn Root, America Speaks. You call in and we talk about it. Your opinions, your comments, your questions. How do you call in? 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-7668. The show airs at midnight, East Coast time, 9 p.m. Pacific, but we tape it at 6 p.m. East Coast time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So you call in at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I talk to you, and it airs that night at midnight. The phone number again, 800-347-ROOT. That number is 24/7. You can leave voicemails. We play your voicemails on the air as well.
Hey, Wayne, what do you think about Obama?
He was a communist, socialist, Marxist radical.
I agree.
Or you can email me, wayneroot@gmail.com. I'll read your email live on the air with your comments or questions. America Speaks.